he is.
What's up, my dude? I thought you were...
a second. Set the stage here for a second.
Go ahead.
1 second.
Talk to me.
I'm saying you set the stage. Set the stage.
All right. I don't know regarding what. I'll say this much.
Email right now. It's hard. It's
All
hard
right.
to think.
All right, that's fine.
Talk. So set the stage.
It's still on the work
be on
day.
it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You just hang out on idle there. I'll try to see what I can do taking this solo here. I thought you were going to come in guns blazing at first because that was a little bit north of 10 minutes as I originally told you.
Finger's on the trigger right now. We'll just say that. So when I'm ready, yeah, they'll be popping off. So go ahead.
I don't know what stage I don't know what kind of spread you expect me to put out there right now. All right, well, I guess we're talking about Ohio State and Purdue. So Buckeyes win the game 59-31. Pretty dominant win. Felt even worse than 59-31, I'll be honest. Purdue scores a couple late. Although, to be fair, Purdue also fucked up a couple of times, give us a couple early points. We should have been doing this Saturday around, I don't know, 3:30. I can't remember what time the kickoff was. No, it was a 3:30 game. We should have been doing this around 6:30 or so on Saturday, but you proceeded to nap through.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah. Well, you were either...
So I'm back. I'm full strength.
All right.
We're not on a power play anymore.
Email sent, closed out. He's good. You just got off with HR, right? Did you get that whole issue worked out you were telling me about? You got to stop bullying your coworkers.
No, it's actually the other way. I'm on my last year of the contract, 3-year contract. I'm trying
fourth year player option.
I'm trying to get that player option for the 4th year, and they're talking about franchise tag me because they don't like the outlook. So
yeah, they're playing hardball. Well, let's see what you do with the franchise tag year, and we'll make our decision from there. So
I floated around a number. I was like, well, since Verlander got 1 for 25 inked yesterday, I could probably come in around 18.
I think that's reasonable.
1 for 18 and call it a day.
I think that's reasonable. Hey, you're kind of like Darrelle Revis. You just bet on yourself. Just continue to sign 1-year deals from team to team.
Who was it? Vernon Davis, the guy that sold stock in him
and himself.
Wasn't that how it did? Yeah, I think it was Vernon Davis. Like he set up some kind of company where
he went public with himself.
Stock in him, and that's how he got paid.
Really? That's true. You could do that. You could just ask them to just put your entire paycheck into Bitcoin or Dogecoin. Dude, I heard a story that speaking of the Squid Game, that Netflix show, somebody created a Squid coin and it was all a scam. And they stole up to $7 million from people that not donated. I guess it was kind of a donation, but that invested into Squid Coin, and it just turned out to be a scam, shockingly. Which I wouldn't be surprised if that's the same thing with Bitcoin and everything else. I'm just waiting for the makers of Bitcoin to cash out.
For all our viewers, and that's a valid point, and that's crazy. The fact that you have watched Squid Game to its entirety and not, and you can stop me whenever as I start reading off movies.
I will let you know when you tell one that's a lie. How about that?
Okay, Gladiator right out of the gate.
Haven't
Never
seen
it.
Heard the soundtrack.
I'll just name my T5. And I mean, we've been friends for how long at this point?
Good. Probably since 2013, 2014 or so.
I mean, I'm not a math guy. That's 7-8 years easy.
Go ahead.
Armageddon.
Yeah, soundtrack's nice on that. I've heard the soundtrack.
It's on the you can play list.
Yeah, it is.
Interstellar.
Yeah, never. Well, I watched it on a plane one time, but I fell asleep about 10 minutes in. Never caught the rest of it.
Yeah, have you seen Joe Dirt?
I have, actually. I have. It's been a minute, but I actually have.
Silence of the Lambs?
No, it just seems too scary for me. I'm not crazy into people eating each other, personally.
I rest my case.
Well, I have seen Napoleon Dynamite. I'm a big... tell you what, I've seen the greatest movie ever made. You already know what it is. Freaking Shawshank.
It's highly debatable.
Dude, you remember there used to be, when we were growing up, there was a phone number...
Citizen Kane is the best movie ever made.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Shawshank, bro. Like if I put a slap on that right now, and I will. What's the greatest movie of all time? Would you agree that's a fair search?
No, because that's I'm saying ever made. The argument for Citizen Kane was it's black and white, and like the sound effects and the transitions and everything were so far before its time, kind of like an Avatar now.
When was Citizen Kane made?
I want to say like the 50s, maybe.
I gotta be honest with you, I couldn't even tell you what that's about.
Maybe 40s. Because I mean, you got to be well-rounded. I mean,
that is true.
You are not.
My biggest regret is not actually watching the movies. It's never understanding the references you make. And I just have to like do like a cheap laugh and hope you don't call me on it. And 9 times out of 10 you do. And then I have to admit, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like usually I'll just toss a little courtesy laugh in there and it just doesn't get the job done.
And that's why we're boys, man. I mean, there's such shitty jokes and references, but like I get one chuckle, it just keeps me going.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I could pull the same move, be like, hey, have you ever played Halo? And you'd be like, well, you know, I played like Super Mario 64 one time. Does that count? I'm like, no, it doesn't count as a matter of fact. All right, well, have you ever played Call of Duty? Well, I used to flank on Call of Duty World at War one time when I played it on my buddy's system in college. I'm like, well, that doesn't count either. So, kind of goes back around. Like, yeah, I was a big Crash Bandicoot guy back in the late 90s.
I am a big Crash guy. that was one of my favorites.
No. All right, well, let's get down to business here. What's your biggest takeaway from the Bucks Purdue game? Well, let me ask you this first. What was your level of nervousness going into the game? Because I feel like I was at a hard like 6.3 out of 10 on the nervous scale.
Yeah, well, when I went back and we looked at our predictions from last week.
Yeah.
I had it a lot closer than you did.
I'm trying to remember.
It was like a 10-point spread. I want to say mine was 42-34 or something like that.
Oh, it's 28 points, though. Like I feel like I was closer to 28 spread, no? Because I had Ohio State covering.
42-34 is only 8 points, man.
No, I know, but it ended up being 28. I think I had us winning by 20.
Oh, okay.
Like I think I was like 41-21 or something. I can't remember exactly what I said.
I don't know what you're trying to say here. You were much closer than I was.
Oh. Did you not just lead into that argument with I was a hell of a lot closer than you were? Or did I just totally hear that wrong?
No, you heard that.
Yeah, I'll say this much. You were a hell of a lot closer on our overall picks. I missed on a couple.
I was.
Your pick of the day was...
I didn't pick the Georgia one. I thought I did. I thought I'd pick the upset, and I did not. I went with Georgia.
So you got saved there?
Yeah.
I remember telling you, I said on the podcast, I said something to the effect of, yeah, Tennessee's QB got hurt, you know, like doing like the teach me how to Dougie dance in the locker room like 2 weeks prior. They won't score more than 10 points. And they had 10 at the end of the first. I remember talking to Lax and I was like, well, I still got to shug. I'm not wrong yet. It's not looking great, but I'm not wrong yet. I don't even remember what the final was. I know Georgia pulled away.
They only got to 17, so
all right.
They weren't that far off.
Yeah, I think Georgia ended up covering, too. I think they ended up scoring a decent amount. If I remember right, I think I hit the over on that one, or I hit Georgia covering, I should say.
It was a bludgeoning. I got two things. I got two things that I got for this recap / bridge into this week. All right?
All right.
My first is I'm looking at the stats here, and we have 13 for 98 and 2 scores.
Yeah.
How many times have I talked about get the guy 20 touches a game?
Well, he didn't have to.
Yeah, but he only had 14. He had 1 catch for 4 yards.
Yeah.
13 for 98.
Yeah, but dude, like
went for 14 for 117, no scores.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised to see mine, but mine was running pretty well, especially at the end when he was kind of the featured guy. Plus, dude, I don't think they're going to be playing much more of Kyle McCord. Well, also because the games are getting tougher, I suppose. But both Kyle McCord and then, his name is escaping me, the other running back. I want to keep on saying Donovan Edwards, but he's the one that went to Michigan. Who's the other? Who's our third running back? The other one from North Carolina?
Evan Pryor.
Thank you. Evan Pryor, he's also played in 4 games. So the thought is, is that you're pretty much just going to be seeing Trey and Mayan, and then if Master comes back, obviously him as well, just because they don't want to burn the red shirt. Because as soon as you play that fifth game, as soon as you step on the field in that fifth game, your red shirt's gone. Dude, I also did you happen to see any of the weird news about them kind of postponing or delaying like the senior night?
Yeah, I think to take pressure off, like if they want to stay or not.
Yeah, it's the idea being for that super senior, that 6th year that a lot of those guys get, and it sounds like a lot of those guys might cash in on it. But it's just weird, like for the guys that there's a couple players, and whoever they may be, like Mitch Rossi or something. Like he's probably just going to graduate and move on with his life. He's not trying to make it to the league if he plays one more year or something, So like then what he doesn't get.
The other way though, if he knows he's not going to the league, why not stay at Ohio State?
Well,
one more year?
Dude, they're going to have to force some guys out just for the sake of scholarships, unless they're granted extra scholarships for every player that stays. In which case, yeah, let them stay.
We're turned into Kentucky basketball. Like, after your first year, you no longer have a scholarship.
Yeah. Like, if you don't turn pro, then you're paying your way the rest of from here on out.
Yeah, like I heard New Mexico State needs a new running back, so, like, maybe check them out.
Tell you what, I'm looking at our rushing stats right now. You did nail it on CJ. You said he'd have negative yards. He had negative 1 yards.
I took that one to the bank.
Here's
my segue. We'll touch on all the stats after this.
Yeah.
So, a bridge into this week, and I didn't know this about Michigan State, but I did not know they had the worst, dead last, sorry fucking pass defense in college football. Let me read you off these stats here.
Go ahead.
Let me know how that's going to fare for them, like, or what they're going to key on, right? So,
yeah.
CJ threw for 31 of 38 for 361 and 5 touchdowns.
Agreed.
97 QBR. Pretty good day, I would say.
Not a bad day at the office.
So the big three, the highly touted big three that we've talked about numerous times.
Yep.
So JSN 9 for 139 touchdown.
Yep.
Garrett 10 for 126, 3 scores.
Yep.
Chris 9 for 85 score.
Yep.
Who do you key on?
That's the issue you have.
28. That's 28 of his 31 completions to 3 guys.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that you don't have enough guys on the back end. I mean, what are you going to do? Run a prevent defense the entire time and then just let Trey get 10 a clip? You
have to.
There's not an answer.
We're not going to score as quick if they do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like the only way to stop an RPO offense is you have to be able to bring your secondary up. What neutralizes that is guys that can take the top off the defense. I think it's fair to say we have 3 of those guys that can blow the top off of any roof they walk into. There's just I haven't watched a ton of their games, but I did hear Steve Dace talking about that Michigan State, with every single FBS QB they've faced, they've given up their career or the best of the season passing yards. And the only one they didn't was like Western Kentucky, because he did it against some other FCS school. And then he was second to Michigan State. So teams are just throwing it all around the yard. I mean, we're getting better. Dude, here's one thing that I had my takeaway. I don't understand. I have no issue with the kid as a person or anything. I hate calling out like kids and like college kids and stuff. I don't understand. This is after like 2 weeks removed from when I called old boy a fat ass, like waddling onto the field. I typically don't. I take no pride in doing that though. But I don't understand why Marcus Williamson is getting so much time over Lathan Ransom. Every single time, and we've talked about this, there's that concept in football of find the fish. That's when we're in man-to-man coverage, you just find the worst defensive back out there. That's the fish, and you throw at him. Marcus Williamson is the fish on our defense. And you know who wouldn't be the fish? Well, yeah, I mean, it could be Seven Banks sometimes too, I suppose. But Lathan Ransom, he should be playing. I don't know if he's been hurt or what's going on. He gave up one big play against Nebraska, and it's like we just like benched him, and I don't know why.
I think it's a lack of depth. I mean, I think that's our whole defensive backfield's the same way. I mean, that's the only reason why Bryson Shaw is playing. Is because we have nobody else to put back there.
Right.
I mean, same with the corners. I mean, as much as Denzel's good and stuff. I mean, that other corner spots. I mean, Seven Banks isn't playing very well. I mean, they're kind of just rotating, right?
It sounds like the thought inside the Woody locker room is that our second corner is Cam Brown. However, they still want to keep rotating those guys because, you don't know how much depth you're going to need as we ramp up, moving closer into kind of crunch time, into like contender November and everything. So the idea is they want to get Seven some reps. They want to get, I don't even know who some of the other guys. Apparently Marcus Williamson, which I don't know why, because Lathan Ransom does just fine in there on his own. But Marcus Williamson, man, he's missing tackles. You already know who I'm taking a Buckeye leaf away from now on defense, by the way. Denzel had 10, by the way. He led our team with 10 tackles last week. I thought he did.
He's giving up throws left and right.
But, dude, you got to understand, and this is kind of what Bobby was talking about. I was listening to him talk about it. Was, the second you're up, because, I mean, what was it at one point in the second quarter, it was like 35-7 or 31-7, whatever it was. At some point, you just start playing, don't let anyone behind you. And it's like all of a sudden that 3rd and 6, it's not a huge deal. Just don't give up the big play. Let them have the first down, is what it sounds like from what Bobby was saying, was kind of the idea.
And this was a throwaway game. I mean, shit, after the first quarter, it's 21-7, and then at half, it was 45-17. I mean, the game's done.
Yeah. I walked away from that thinking it felt worse than 59-31, feeling pretty good about it. I mean, that being said, I was looking at the Purdue stats before we came on. I mean, Aiden O'Connell, he's not a bad QB, dude. I mean, especially for a guy where it's, they've just completely given up the run. I mean, they had 15 carries total, roughly, between their two bell cows, if you can call them that.
91 total rush yards.
Yeah, I mean, like they're not even trying to run the rock. So it's pretty impressive to come out there when everyone knows you're going to throw. Hey, how bad was that play they had where they brought in, like, Jake Plummer, or whatever his name was, Jack Plummer. Right out of the gate, fumbles lost. I hate the 2 QB system. Michigan had that issue against Michigan State. They kept bringing in J.J. McCarthy, which he's going to be a good ball player. I'm not saying he's not. He can give you more with his legs. But, I mean, my God, that game, too.
He's not going to be any good. I mean, your calls on quarterbacks as of the last, 8 days have been god-awful. I mean, let me remind the viewers of one of your hot takes of, Caleb Williams is the truth. He got benched in the third quarter for the Rattler.
That was a bad take on my part.
I think my reference was that you're drinking the Kool-Aid a little early.
Yeah, you brought out Jim Jones and everything.
I did, R.I.P. to him and everybody. But, it's not a good call. I mean, you bring in the Rattler when the game's on the line.
Yeah.
There's not much confidence there.
A guy who's already made it very clear on social media he's out after this season, too. Yeah. No, I mean, look, I was wrong. All right, there's no getting around it. The fuck is the... God, I can't pull names today. The starting quarterback for Michigan, my gosh. I pulled J.J. McCarthy, no problem. Then I can't pull this kid.
Cade McNamara.
Thank you. You're the name guy today. I appreciate you. This makes for a horrible podcast. I mean, I wouldn't say he's great. He had his career day against Michigan State, by the way. That's the thing, though. He was in the zone lighting it up. He was playing really, really well, and then they kept bringing in. It just gets you out of your flow and everything. I don't understand why they do that, but it is what it is. It's neither here nor there. By the way,
for Buckeye leads, let me get this out of the way because I'm not going to give or take any away because there's too many to give away. I'm going to take one away for the entire the defense in general, and not because we gave up 31 because we talked about that.
Yeah,
but we didn't have a turnover, and for a guy that threw 52 times, you got to get a pick in there somewhere.
I could see that. Well, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, you can't really count the turnover of they bring in a QB who's cold off the bench and he muffs the handoff.
The fucking handoff.
Yeah, it doesn't really count. I'll give you that, and we sure, Yeah, and we know they're gonna throw. Hey, what was your takeaway with Denzel on David Bell? I thought he did pretty well. Given, David Bell's probably a top 5 receiver in the draft this next coming year.
I don't see that either. I mean, I think he did really well. I don't. We have the 3 best receivers in the country, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I don't disagree, but JSN's staying.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, he didn't look like he's on the same level as the 3 guys we have, which are first-round picks.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair.
I mean, I think he's good. I mean, in a competitive game, he probably would have done more. I mean, he still went for, 100 yards or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was a quiet 100. Yeah.
Yeah, off 10 or 11 catches. I mean, it was serviceable.
Yeah,
the game was done 10 minutes into it.
Yeah, I was going to say my nervous scale went down pretty quick, that's for sure. You know what? One of my biggest takeaways for Purdue, one of their issues, they got too many white guys at skilled positions. Ergo, kickoff return.
Backs.
Yeah, the running backs, that kickoff returner who was like doing the calculations in his head when the right time to grab the rock was, and he got hit in the mouth while he was still trying to carry the one.
They're trying to find that next Mike Allstott, that guy from the Browns. Who's the one-hit wonder guy?
Peyton Hillis.
They're looking for that.
Yeah, I can tell you're still a little bit bitter from when Peyton Hillis ran all over your former team, the New England Patriots, who you will be going back to here in 3-4 years.
Luckily, I have a little insight on NFL. I usually don't like talking NFL, but since you brought it up, let's go ahead and get into it.
It was a bad time to bring it up, yeah.
It was a bad week for both of us, but is my concern level anywhere close to yours? No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to make the playoffs at this point with the Browns.
You're not going to make the playoffs, and here's what I'm going to tell you: you better be in the market for a quarterback.
I know. I hate to say, because I like Baker and everything, but he's not in the elite tier of QBs. But what can we do? There's not one to draft this year.
I might go get one.
Like who? Nobody wants to come to Cleveland.
LeBron did.
LeBron's from there.
OBJ did, and you guys shipped him
OBJ out. Was traded. He didn't choose us. And he made it very clear how much he hated it in Cleveland from start to finish.
And here's what I hear, because I've been listening, and I'm not a Browns fan for all the listeners out there at all, and I'm in the confines of Ohio. It's the same tired stuff that you say all the time to defend Baker of, he's a hard worker. He
embodies Northeast Ohio.
He's got like the X Factor mentality. Yeah. Tell me how many games that wins you.
It wins you some. It wins you some.
Honestly, he'll plant a flag in Panther Stadium, hype the fucking crowd up. Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna win 7 games. Like, is that good enough?
Look, I've said this a million times. I don't think you win a Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield, and I think we have a Super Bowl roster minus the quarterback, which is what it hurts me to say. Yeah, we do.
No.
Where's our deficiencies at? I said we don't win one without Baker.
No.
But I think we have everywhere else covered on the roster. That's what hurts the most. And to go get an elite quarterback, we'd have to trade off some of those elite pieces, obviously, and I don't want to do that either. So we're kind of in between a rock and a hard place. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't really want to talk about the Browns that much, if we're being perfectly honest with you. We should beat the Lions this week.
You're like an upper-end mid-major team. Like a Davidson, like Butler. No, you'll make a run. Like, you'll win some games, but you'll never win the game.
Well, Gordon Hayward was about 3 inches off from beating your Duke Blue Devils in the championship.
Yeah, how'd that end up?
Well, he almost hit it. He just about had it. That's what we should talk about. We should talk about who your favorite teams are in each sport. Let the viewers decide if it's bullshit or legitimate.
It's pretty easy.
All right, fine. I'll rattle it off for you. So let's see. College football, Ohio State.
Wow, that's such a shock answer right
NFL, New England Patriots then traded with Tom Brady to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 4-year deal with 5th-year player option, depending on what Brady does. Whenever he does decide to hang it up, you're going back to the Pats.
Right.
College.
And that's good, and that seems pretty good right now with Mac Jones.
Yeah,
Just saying.
it's fucking bullshit. You're aware he went to Michigan, right?
That's like getting in early on, like, Apple stock back in the 80s. Like, I'm coming back to just riches.
It's horse
Feels
shit.
good.
Tell you
That
what,
feels
he
good.
is. He is. He's gonna be good. He's set up well.
All right, go ahead.
All right, NBA. Your teams, I can list them in order. Here, you ready? For everyone viewing at home, in the car, wherever you may be, you tell me if you notice a pattern here. Cleveland Cavaliers, Miami Heat, Cleveland Cavaliers, Los Angeles Lakers. I'll let you fill in where that.
And there's an asterisk on that, by the way.
What do you mean?
For reasons we've talked about. I'm not as high on LeBron anymore as I used to be,
Fair.
and or the NBA. So
All right. Well, who's your favorite team?
it'd probably be the Los
All right.
Angeles Lakers.
All right. All right.
At crypto.com stadium. Not those
ML
apps at Staples Center.
MLB. New York Yankees.
That's not necessarily true. I'm more of an Indians fan than anything.
Women's basketball. Yukon Huskies.
Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah. No, you roll with Ohio State women's basketball. I'll give you that. Let's see what else. I mean, I don't even know who your favorite
What do you
cricket
gotta
team
say?
is. Your favorite darts thrower, I know, is Michael Van. Go
Michael
ahead.
Van Gerwen.
Of course, yeah.
Fabled 17 darter. I mean, if you
Yeah.
haven't seen that video, I recommend go watch that.
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll
you
have to
can't say
fire it up.
golf either. I mean, because golf,
Tiger.
everybody would pick Tiger. And then,
Not me.
Rory, what are you going to say, Jack?
No.
Doesn't even play.
I'm a big Ricky Fowler guy. He
You
lets
are a
me
big Ricky
down.
Fowler.
He lets me down consistently.
Well, it only makes sense since you're a Browns fan. Like, that goes hand in hand. Like, the same ups and downs and just defeat.
I
all
live
year round
I
goes
live
with
off
Ricky.
of disappointment. That's how I roll. I don't know. NHL, you're the Blue Jackets, who they're not
Yeah.
they're not a
So
dynasty
there's
by
really
any
only
means.
two teams you can call me out on, and it's pretty ridiculous. So it is what it is.
Well, I'm just saying. I've just never seen a grown ass man jump ship so freely like you do. I just need to know. You are aware. You are aware where Tom Brady went to college, correct?
Doesn't matter. None of us watched that. It was before our time.
Yeah, and he wasn't
It
very
was in
good
the
there.
90s. You weren't even born yet. I
Yes.
was like 4 years old.
We're like 2 years apart. I digress. But for any Michigan fans, we're going to try to jay off to the thought of, well, we created the greatest quarterback of all time. I just want to let you know the best you could do with the GOAT, and I will admit he is the GOAT, the best you could do with him was make him a 6th-round draft pick, so congratulations. All right, now that I got that off my
with
chest.
that other dude up there.
Yeah, that's
The,
right. I couldn't tell you who it was.
The kid that was playing baseball, too.
Yeah, I do recall that. I have seen that. I can't pull his name. I don't know. Anyways, all right, so you're taking a Buckeye leaf away from the defense.
Drew Stanton.
Oh, nice call. Yeah, really good pull.
Yeah,
Very nice pull. Would you look that
I'm
up?
a Tom Brady fan. I mean, that's what I do. I know I've been up and down with the guy.
Well, you just lost some fans on that one. Also, I don't know if you noticed, we got a comment on our first video. I always want to read the comments off on here. If anyone ever wants to talk shit, we'll read it live.
Comment or comment.
Well, here was the issue
shit on VTice.
Yeah.
Pile it on.
Yeah, let him know how ridiculous his takes are. The issue was that the comment was from somebody with a Russian username, and it was the comment was in Russian, so I couldn't quite decipher it. It's 100% a bot. I'm just letting you know that we will bot comments. We will still read. We must be doing something right if the bots are starting to trickle in.
Well, you're a millennial. Wouldn't the first thing you do is put it into Google Translate and see what comes out?
I think I tried that and it didn't change it. Because YouTube,
a porn video, like a webcam girl or something.
Yeah, $1 per minute webcam free shows, 1-on-1. Honestly, may have been.
We have this sexy Russian that lives half a mile from your house, join in, talk to her.
Well, to be honest with you, I was starting to think it was danger reaching out off of his satellite.
Radio.
Yeah, his ham radio, whatever it's called. So you remember
That's a good point, though. And anybody listening, drop a comment and just say what's up.
Yeah.
Any topics you want us to hit, because we have a insider on Colorado sports that's going to join us probably this week.
Yeah. Fucking lax man, 1143. Never played a day of lacrosse in his fucking life.
we got an art director, C. Smith, that will join us, which won't be anything sports related. But we'll try to draw that back into sports. So
yeah.
We touch on everything. So if you have any topics, drop it in the comments, and we'll.
We're gonna try to navigate C. Smith into being like the producer of this show, so I don't have to do anything on the back end. But other than that, I don't know what C. Smith brings to the table. I really don't know what he would do, other than like hit record and then pause or stop.
He was supposed to be an integral part of this podcast, and he has yet to know when we're going to talk. So.
Yeah, I think he
booted out effectively, so he'll come on as a guest.
Yeah, we'll bring him on at some point. And then I guess the other C. Smith we can bring on, he's just, what is he? He's a guy that he's got a dozen kids. He pretends to know finance, although he works like 20 minutes a week. And then other than that, just like goes have lunch with clients that were given to him, and then pretends that he's like a guru or something in the field. I don't even know. We'll have to ask him about that. Like what I don't even know what he does.
What would you say you do here, buddy? We don't know.
Yeah, that'd be extent. All right, well, there's C. Smith Part 2 for you, and he'll be back next week. We'll ask him and see if he has any better answers about what he does.
maybe he could be our insider guy on like some hot IPOs or some investment strategies we can share with everybody.
Well, he wouldn't fucking know.
Gift. Like, hey, I have a great penny stock from some kind of tech company out of Wichita, Kansas. That you might want to get in on before they explode.
I think they're going to really pop off here before too long. So, yeah, his dumb ass probably would have told us to invest in the squid coin. But like, yeah, I'm telling you, this is going to pop. Get in early and often while you can. Send your life earnings into it. All right, Buckeye leave for offense. Who you got for me?
I'll go CJ. I mean, I'll make this short. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid at this point on him. I know 2 episodes ago I just said I want yours. Yeah. I don't know anymore. I think the yours thing is more FOMO. Like, we know what we think we know what we have.
Yeah.
But like what we're seeing right now. It's pretty special, dude. I mean...
I'll tell you what, he's efficient,
man.
He's
a freshman. I mean, for fuck's sake.
He is. He is. I'm very curious how this is going to turn out. He threw the ball well, didn't make any really bad throws. He threw on a pretty windy day, too. 31 of 38. There's some drops in there, too. So he was pretty efficient. You already read the QBR. So, yeah, he's playing well. I guess my biggest concern is, the one thing I would say is he really hasn't had a game yet where he's been getting constantly hit or pressured. And I'm curious how he will do when that comes, because it's going to come. I don't know if it'll be this week, but I think it will be for the game here in 2 weeks. And I think it will be from then on.
I think he could persuade not only us as being the guy of the future, but he could also win the Heisman in the next 2 weeks.
He's the odds-on favorite. I mean, if he lights up these next 2 teams, because, I mean, who else would you give it to?
Well, no, these are 2 top 10 wins if he wins these 2. I mean, there's no other resume out there anywhere close to that. Yeah,
I mean, like what's Michigan State? 7, I think, and then Michigan, 7. Who knows if Oregon drops to Utah this week or something, or I don't know, but Michigan would be a top 5 win because they're at 5, no? Or is Cincinnati?
6. Yeah,
they're 6. Okay.
Yeah.
So, 2 top 10 wins. If he lights it up, one of which being in the Big House. Hey, is the Heisman before or after the Big Ten championship?
I think it's after.
Okay, so then he would get one more body of work. It's looking like it's going to be Wisconsin, right? Is that what you were seeing, too?
Yeah, I think so, too. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I will give my Buckeye leave. It's super easy. Garrett Wilson, welcome back to the party. Good to see you again, my brother. 4 touchdowns, 3 receiving, 1 rushing. Yeah, you were right about JSN. He ended up being our leader. JSN's already over 1,000 yards. I know Chris is leading the team in touchdown receptions. I think Garrett might have went over 1,000 this past game as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Garrett's filthy. I mean,
he's amazing.
They'll all end up over the next 2 weeks be over 1,000 yards. I'm assuming. I think Chris will be the only.
Well, Chris is
out of those 2.
Yeah, I mean, Chris is he's only 2 or 3 touchdowns away from beating David Boston's record. for career touchdowns at Ohio State. So he's knocking on that door. He'll get that. Do you feel as though Chris hasn't been as noisy as you would have thought this year, though? Like, it seems like JSN and Garrett, just in terms of usage or who CJ's throwing to, and I understand the play dictates it, but do you feel as though Garrett and JSN have been doing more than Chris? And I guess I kind of thought Chris was going to be probably leading most stat sheets most weeks. But I guess JSN in the slot, I mean, that's tough, man, because like the safeties are all focused on Garrett and Chris. So JSN is just pitch and catch, man. Let him go across the middle. He'll do the rest.
I think, yeah, I think defense and position have a lot to do with it. I honestly think JSN and Garrett are just, they bring more tools to the offense than Olave does. I mean, Olave's our deep threat guy, and we haven't really connected on a ton of deep passes this year.
Yeah.
The other two, and they make guys miss every time they touch the ball. And Chris isn't as shifty or as like you would like to say, like a bar of soap, slippery.
JSN,
dynamic to me. There.
Yeah, I mean, I think if, so if you had to pick between those three, and I know it's very early, this is a hard prediction to make, 'cause I think all three are going to be good. Who do you think has the best career? I'm going to go first because I'm afraid you're going to take it. I'd probably say I think Garrett's going to have the best NFL career.
Yeah, I think the only way, and honestly, this could be true. Well, it'd be next year. I was going to say if JSN goes obviously in the first round next year, but he slips to like mid to late and gets on a good team, then he'll probably have a better. I mean, it goes down to team, as we know that.
Yeah, the only way
if one of those go to the Browns, like he's going to have a shit career.
Here we go.
That wasn't supposed to be a shot.
They won't. It was a shot. Don't even act like it wasn't. Well, he won't fall all the way to us, so I'm not worried about it.
you know who Garrett reminds me of, and he's a better version of him, is like a Curtis Samuel type guy. Like, you could hand the rock off to Garrett. Or a jet sweep or something like that.
Yeah, well,
but he's a better receiver, though.
Yeah, I mean, that jet sweep was filthy. And then don't forget last year, the first play of the Penn State game, when we were at Penn State, we ran that same jet sweep to Garrett, and he took it he didn't score it, but he took it about 80 yards down the field right out of the gate.
Did he look faster this year, too?
I thought so. Yeah, I thought so.
Like, that, what was it, the first touchdown? We did that kind of slant. And took it to the house. That might have been the second one.
Yeah.
Took it like 40 or 50 yards.
Yeah.
He's just fast, man.
He is. Yeah, the matchup everyone's talking about, which I'd love to see as well, because I'm intimidated by Georgia's defense. But that's what everyone says, Ohio State offense versus Georgia defense. And it would be fun to see. I'd like to see. I mean, I think it would come down to the offensive line, as most games do. If you let Trey get out in the open, I don't care if it's Georgia or if it's Ohio University, Iraqi branch campus. It doesn't matter to me. Trey's going to make house calls. So, and then obviously with those receivers, there's not enough guys on the field. You can't spy and cover and double team all of them. But somebody's going to be open.
Right.
I think the way you beat Ohio State, talking about if you're playing defense against our offense, is I think you have to bring pressure onto CJ and try to rattle him. Because you're not going to stop the receivers. And extra pressure, you can try to neutralize Trey. And then you got to make CJ make throws under pressure. I don't know what else you do.
And I think we'll find that out because both of these next 2 weeks, they're going to do that.
Yeah. It'll be the set of probably the best front sevens we'll face these next 2 weeks. Maybe Penn State, who played very well against us, and we didn't play awesome. I still maintain CJ makes that throw in the fourth quarter to Chris. If the refs didn't make him run 80 yards trying to chase down the Penn State player when it was very clearly an incomplete pass and not a fumble after it bounced like 3 times. But that's neither here nor there. So we'll in the next one when we talk, we'll kind of talk about our weekly predictions and everything. We won't get into that now, but do you have any lasting thoughts on Ohio State, Purdue?
Yeah, I mean, and you touched on it, and it goes back to how we're going to fare the rest of the year is, who was I can't ever say his name, the defensive end at Purdue,
I know who you're talking about. I don't have his name
The
either.
kid that's supposedly like in some analysts say he's the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
He didn't do shit, man.
No.
I mean, so if we can neutralize guys, I mean, Michigan's got a guy like that, the Aiden Hutchinson kid, and Michigan State's got a pretty decent defensive line. If we can neutralize that, we'll be fine.
Yeah, it's George Karl.
These teams can't score with us.
No, that's the thing. I mean, I think to beat Ohio State, you know, when we're doing our thing on offense, you got to score 35 plus.
Right.
I think
hope
you have
to get a couple turnovers.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So yeah. By the way, the name was it was number 5, right? That's who George Karlaftis.
Karlaftis, that's right.
Something like that. Yeah, I was surprised when they were saying that. Yeah, he only had 3 tackles though. No sacks or anything. By the way, we didn't give up any sacks last week. So I think also Buckeye Leaf, if I could have an honorable mention, it would be our offensive line. I thought they played pretty well. It was good to see them back. And what we also said, you know, to be fair, this is Purdue. And even though they're playing well, you can't tell me that those guys should be beating our crop of 5 stars on the O-line. And they didn't. So they did their job. So, like you said, the test comes the next 2 weeks, and we'll get into that.
Yeah, and my last Buckeye Leaf, and I was bitching him out last week.
Yep.
Hell of a play calling sesh by Ryan Day, by the way. It was just a masterpiece call. I know we got turnovers and that shitty shank punt that went 5 yards and scored. But I mean, it was a masterclass.
It was. He was playing 3D chess while they were playing checkers on defense, or like tic-tac-toe or something. Yeah. He was in his bag of tricks that game, and I think he admitted a couple weeks before he didn't like his play calling and everything. But I don't know. I trust Ryan Day in that. The only thing that scares me about Ryan Day is I think at some point he's going to want to go back to the NFL. I don't know when. I hope not. I hope we throw the entire bag of money at him, whatever he wants, give him the blank check. But I think he'll get that itch eventually. But as Urban said, your last job as the Ohio State coach is to make sure your replacement's the right guy for the job. And I trust Day with that too. But we don't got to worry about that now. We got time. His kids are still in high school and they enjoy Columbus, so he's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, we're in an interview. What's your 10-year plan here? Ryan Day's going to be gone, and
Look, I worry about that.
Here to fill him.
I worry about it. What if we make a Brady Hoke or a Rich Rod hire? I lose sleep over that. I could not go through what Michigan has gone through, and I'm not trying to take cheap shots. If there's ever a Michigan fan that listens to this, okay, I am. Yeah, you guys suck and you're the worst people ever. But besides that, I couldn't take that mentally or psychologically, emotionally, or physically. So I live in fear of it. But we don't got to worry about it for now. It's a story for another day. Hopefully not.
Exactly.
Cool. All right, bro. What you got?
That's about it, man.
Yeah.
Good win. And on to Sparty.
Yeah, I think that's a noon Eastern kickoff, right?
It is noon.
Gotcha.
Correct.
So at least we don't got to wait around all day for it. What's your ideal time slot? Well, I think we were 3:30 for Purdue, weren't we?
No, I'm saying this week in Michigan.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
What's my ideal time slot?
Yeah, for Buckeye games.
I don't mind the 3:30 games. I mean, I like the 3:30 games when we're playing shitty teams where I don't have to worry.
Yeah.
For that long, especially night games.
Yeah.
Noon's good. I like noon. I like it depends on the night game. If it's a night game at the shoe, yeah. Give me a night game against Michigan or Michigan State.
Right.
But 3:30, I would say. What do you?
Well, I maintain that most upsets happen at noon. Ergo, Oregon, Ohio State when they came to. It bothers me that Fox does their game of the week always at noon. I don't know why they push that so hard. 'Cause I think the night games are cool, and that would have been a great night game for the shoe and everything. And I don't know if it would have played out any differently. Nonetheless, they beat us at our home turf, no excuses. But I think I prefer, for the shit teams, give me that at noon. Middle tier, so give me Purdue. I think that's good for 3:30. And then if we're playing, a good Penn State team, I think it'd be cool to see the rivalry at night. I think it'd be cool, even if that's at 3:30, because by the end of it, like the second half, you're under the lights at that point.
Right.
So I'd kind of like, if you remember in 06, the game of the century, I think that was a 3:30 kickoff because it was night when we finished that one. And obviously, that's like one of my favorite games in Ohio State history.
I don't think that was. No, when's the last time that was ever not a noon game?
Well, dude, it was night at the end of the game of the century. I'm pretty sure that was a 3:30.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Huh. I mean, unless that game took like 7 hours, which it probably felt like 7 hours watching it at the time. But
well, if you watch any Fox broadcasts, there's 1,700 commercials.
Jesus Christ, yeah,
so
that probably is close to 7 hours. Yeah, touchdown, commercial, extra point, commercial, kickoff, extra point, or excuse me, commercial.
There's JSN working the crowd. Sweet, okay, commercial.
Yeah. Yeah, JSN is now on the elliptical bike on the side trying to stay warm because he's had to stand around for all these commercial breaks since he last scored the touchdown. Yeah, so, but no, I think that pretty much covers everything on my end as well. What are you doing the rest of the day? Hitting the gym?
I'm watching LPGA Tour right now.
Hey, didn't you say they played under the lights a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, out in Dubai, they do it every year.
God,
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you said it was. I didn't look that up or anything, but you said it was pretty cool. I feel like I've looked it up in the past, and it looks sweet.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind to touch on a little LPGA Tour sometime in our proceedings here.
Well, I'll have to do a little bit of research first. I'd have to do research for PGA. I really don't even. All I know is Will Zalatoris is my dark horse every tournament. That's about all I know.
We'll do a segment, maybe springtime when Masters starts rolling.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah,
live from,
live from the Hearst, live from Pinehurst, number 4.
I was gonna say we're sitting here, we're 65 over through 12. Who's gonna win this Masters tournament this year?
Well, if you remember, we were saying because we played. I think it was Pinehurst. It was either number 12 or number 4, whichever round it was that we played.
8-4.
I was at like a 68 making the turn because I couldn't get out of the I couldn't get out of the wasteland on the sides. 65 on the turn, and I had to like reconcile with myself. There's guys that are already back into the clubhouse with the same amount of strokes as I've had at this point.
And I stand by this. It was the best turnaround maybe in golf history where you turn at 65. And since it's a $400 round, you can't really pack it in.
like there's no walking off. You just got to own it.
You closed in 42, which is like arguably one of your best nines anywhere.
Nobody saw that coming.
It was incredible. I don't think you said a word on the back nine. You were that zoned in. Like,
that was
06 Tiger Vision.
It was Tiger Vision, yeah.
Yeah,
it was Tiger Vision.
It was incredible, man. I tell that story to anybody that listens.
I mean, it comes down to pride. Well, I told you about this past weekend when I had arguably one of the worst turnarounds where through like 5 holes I was even par, feeling myself. I thought it was going to be a career day for me. I was like, I might shoot sub 70s here. Finish with a 91. You just hate to see it.
Yeah, when you go 19 over through like the preceding like 4 holes.
Yeah.
I should say 14 holes. That's just not good.
It's not ideal. I mean, it wasn't how I drew it up. Yeah, wind started gusting.
You look at the flag stick instead of the greens. Like you start focusing on the flags, and that's when it gets out of hand.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what it was. It was the opposite of the Hearst. So I went oppo of Tiger Vision, where I started jawing the crowd and like everyone who I was with, and then I couldn't keep it on the course to save my life. I was playing like junk. Like, I lost all my noodles that I brought that day. I lost all the long and softs. Yeah. I wasn't going to bring out any Pro Vs because I couldn't keep it on the course. So then I'm playing. I had like a Rogue Spalding golf ball in there. I played that at one point.
Well, I mean, you and I are not into, like, I can't speak about you, but, like, witchcraft and ghosts and shit. But you start jawing. The gods take that the wrong way.
They took it personal.
Turn on you quick, and you'll start putting up some snowmen and start quad bogeying par 3s.
Yeah,
and shit.
You're on in 2 on a par 5, and you 5 putt it. Seen that one go down.
Yeah, you de-green yourself and you're chipping back on. I mean, I've seen it all, and it's not pretty.
Yeah, you know what I think got me was the chip shots around the green. It was one of those where I kept skull fucking it over the green back and forth.
Butter knives.
Yeah. Then I was like getting fatigued, walking up and down like the slopes to get back onto the green to walk to the other side.
IT man's flaring up.
Actually,
like what I'm trying to get.
yeah. I'll tell you what it was. I'll tell you where the round turned was. I was firing up Crown and diets while I was out there, so life's good. Everything's straight. And then she ran out of diet, so she had to give me a Crown Ginger. And I think that's where, I think that's where, it was like, I got like Tito's and Sprite, or you can do Crown and Ginger. So I stuck with Crown, but the Ginger just, seeped into the crevices of my brain and just fucked me up.
It throws you off what you're saying.
Yeah.
You have no idea what's going on.
Oh, I was a completely different golfer at that point. I was seeing ghosts out there. You going to play this weekend?
No, it's going to be... Well, I actually might play tomorrow. It's going to be 43 or 44, but sunny.
Dude, Laxman and my brother-in-law, they were like, yeah, bro, we got a sick round at, golf course ABC, if you want to go. And, dude, guess what time the tee time is? Mind you, it's been freezing here lately.
Well, if it's any time before 9, I don't even know.
Dude,
I don't know if you can get off because there's frost on the greens.
Dude, tee time 6:43 in the morning.
Is it light over there?
Yeah, so they had to rebuttal it, or they had to take it back because they said it would still be dark. So then they got it for like 7:45, and I was like, "Is that even gonna be any better? It's still gonna be absolutely freezing. Like, why would I go out there and play in that? I'm not gonna pay $60 to $70 to go freeze my ass off and drop a 105 in the bucket."
I don't think they'll let them off. I mean, we have a standing tee time at 9 o'clock on Sundays.
Yeah,
and we haven't been able to get off until about 10 recently, or 10:30,
really?
Because there's they won't let you play with frost on the greens. You'll kill the grass.
Yeah. So they're just idiots. I mean,
they're not good enough to be like playing at 6:45 in the fucking winter.
No.
I mean, what are you, Rory out here?
Yeah. There's levels to this, and you're not on it.
You're not training for anything. It's about to be the end of the season.
I was gonna say, like, mind you,
3 hours.
Mind you, it should be noted, like, my 91, I was in contention. So, like, I don't want anyone thinking like I got my ass beat out there, which I did by the course, but like not by my group mates. So, once we get you out here, man, you're just gonna clean up on us. So, I just gotta make it a priority to get you as a partner more often than not.
After you carded that 4th consecutive double, like, you're still on the first page of the leaderboard. That shows you the quality of golf play.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't need that 8, but he's still leading the crew, so like he's still in this thing. Surprisingly, luckily his opponents took 7s, so he really didn't lose much ground on that one. All right, big dog. Well, I'm good if you're good.
Yeah, man.
What you hitting the gym today?
Got back buys. I'm thinking about getting back into deadlifts and
there you
test
go.
that L5 back out.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll try to get one up tomorrow.
Yeah,
definitely before the game, right?
Yeah. Well, I fucked up last week because we recorded on a Friday. I woke up on Saturday, excited for the game, and I was like, "Oh shit, I forgot to even post that." And I had to go.
That's an administration error.
It was. That's why we need a producer. We need to get C. Smith in here at some point. I mean, he could maybe at least like schedule it for the appropriate time. But yeah, I'll get this one up ASAP, and then if we do it tomorrow, I'll get it up by the end of the day tomorrow, or at the middle of the day tomorrow.
Cool. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and everybody listen. Drop a like, comment.
Oh.
Jazz.
Hey, nice little sign off, my man. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm looking out. Looking out for PTC, man.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. One of us has to do it because I always forget. So, yeah, good deal. Yeah, that's the biggest thing is we want the banter. So comment and just talk shit if you want to, and we'll address it. We don't hide from comments. So,
no.
All right, big dog. Well, hey, take care of yourself. Have a good rest of the day. Give me a shout when you get out of the gym. I should be around. I gotta head up and go see a couple more patients, and then probably hitting the gym after that. So I'll get in touch with you.
All right, man.
All right, big dog. Yep, take care of yourself. Peace.